Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
And let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes! Dricus just stole the belt, baby. Dricus just stole the belt. What'd I tell y'all, man? Stole the belt means the challenger won the fight. For those of you that get on me for saying that, that just means the challenger won the fight. The champion is the favorite until they lose. I'm not talking about the odds. I'm just talking about as a fan. The champion is the favorite till they lose. And when the other guy wins, especially like that, forget about it. And I knew Dricus was going to win that fight. We've been struggling in the main event all year, but that was one we didn't struggle in. Or was that last? No, that was this year. Yeah. That's one of the 4 out of the 11 we got right. It's terrible. But yeah, so the big news now is that Dricus and Adesanya are going to fight at UFC 305. That's what it seems like. It's not official. You know, none of these things are until they are. But that's what it seems like. The UFC will be going back to Australia at UFC 305. Down under. Or did they say, wait a minute, did they say Australia? Let me look this up now. Yeah, we'll see the promotion return to Perth, Australia, August 18, 2024. Yeah, I thought I was getting that wrong. Because I thought they were going to fight in Africa. Adesanya last fought at UFC 292 in Sydney, Australia, and he lost to Sean Strickland. So Dricus says, looks like someone wants another beating in Oz. I love it, man. Well, that's different. And I guess that explains why Robert Whittaker spoke out today and said it hurts me that Adesanya gets the fight for another title. And the feelings have no place in the fight game, ladies and gentlemen. There's no victims here. There's no feelings in the fight game. These are warriors that are going to battle. And one guy comes out a winner. There's no room to say it hurts me that he fight. Just do your job. Beat Khamzat. But, yeah. We all know what's going to happen there. Or do we? Don't we all agree that Khamzat is going to dominate Whittaker? I mean, isn't this a foregone conclusion? I know for some of you it's not. But for me it is. So let's get into what do we think will happen. Dricus and Adesanya, I really don't know. I really don't know. I want to lean towards Dricus, but you can never count Adesanya out, especially when he's not the champion, right? It's like he's got something more to prove. So that's going to be a great fight. And then I think Khamzat beats Whittaker, and then we got some action. Because as we said before, this fight with Robert Whittaker is for real, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't like, oh, he just beat Usman or Gerald Meerschaert or barely beat Burns or whatever. Forget that he finished Kevin Holland in 2 minutes easily. Li Jingliang in 2 minutes easily. The first 4 fights coming into the UFC, all that's still there, man. But yeah, this isn't Usman. I understand. But Khamzat's going to win this fight. And that brings us to the bigger question is who's Khamzat fighting for the title? That's what I really... That should be the main thing that people are looking at odds on. Because at first you got to assume that Khamzat's going to get there. And then second, who's going to be the champion when he does fight? When Khamzat's a challenger for the middleweight title, who is going to be the champion in this division? That's all I care about. Now we know the welterweight's gone, right? Now we can look and say, okay, we're definitely looking at the middleweight now. He's got a clear path, and let's go get the title. That's it. Let's go get the title. But there's a lot of good fights in this division that are coming before us. Make no mistake about it. Jumping in early today. Jumping in early. Sage says Whittaker stops him. Chimaev used to beating smaller guys. The master weighing in saying, are you going to do an in-depth breakdown of Whittaker versus Chimaev? Something down the line, exploring both fighters' win strategy. Yeah, of course. Of course. We're going to be talking about this fight so much. We've already done the prediction. That's all in there, right? The 2-minute prediction, the 15-minute podcast on just reacting the morning that it happened. It's like, what do you say? You're just so excited about it. But yeah, and the clear path for Khamzat is to just KO Whittaker because he's a big guy. Whittaker's path is to KO Khamzat and also defend the takedowns. If he can't defend the takedowns against Khamzat, it's going to be a short night because he knows he can use that to win. Maybe he wants to stay away from the KO power. So at first for Whittaker, it's to defend takedowns. Those are the strategies for both fighters. Khamzat just goes in like, he's like really like an old school football team, right? I talk about this a lot. That is going to come in and run the football. And if you can't stop it, they're going to do that all night, and they're going to chew the clock, and they're going to get a few stops on defense, and they're going to win the game. And that's kind of how Khamzat does in the fight game. He's going to do whatever he has to do to win. I don't know that there's always a clear strategy, right? Like first, he's probably going to try to shoot in for some takedowns to test Whittaker. But we'll have to wait and see. But the KO is always there for Khamzat too. But 5 rounds, I don't think he's wanting to go 5. He's going to try to go in there in the first and get a finish. And darn it, he better do it or he's going to get tired. It's the bottom line. Kenneth Bruner, Khamzat is looking massive on some recent photos. He has to be walking around at close to 215, 220 at least. Looks like he's been given the okay to eat and nourish the body. He looks full and powerful. We've never seen him this filled out. I'm expecting an absolute clinic from Khamzat. Total domination, basically, of Whittaker. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. You know, me and Bruner are together on this topic. We always have been and always will be. That Khamzat is going all the way. And then some. Max Holloway. EB Files X says, I have this feeling that Max will win. I'm thinking about putting some dough on it. You know, I always say, you know, break these things down and really be sure what you're doing. Really be sure what you're doing. Because these fights, they can go any number of ways. It's never a guarantee. Max Holloway is going to have a tough time with Justin Gaethje. I repeat, he's going to have a tough time with Justin Gaethje. And Gaethje saying today, you know, the bottom line is his prediction is a doctor stoppage. And I saw that and I was like, you know, that's clever because it's like, unless he KOs Max, which is definitely a possibility, he's going to beat him enough to where Max Holloway's a type that won't quit, but the doctor will make him quit. And that's a legitimate possibility. I mean, you could almost see the fight playing out that way. You could definitely see the fight playing out that way. So a really good prediction by Justin Gaethje, who Khabib said was the hardest puncher he's ever faced. And Gaethje saying Oliveira hit him harder than anyone's hit him. So you had all that going around the table today. But the middleweight division, ladies and gentlemen, I can't stress this enough. The middleweight division is looking ridiculous right now. In terms of the fights that lay before us, Whittaker versus Khamzat, Plessis versus Adesanya. What's Sean Strickland going to do? He's like the one that's left out of the semifinals. What's Strickland going to do? Because it's just tough. It's tough because you have these 3 up there that are kind of passing the belt around a little bit. If Adesanya wins, the belt's being passed around. But you have a guy named Khamzat coming that will put a stop to all that. So it's just a matter of time. But it's just really interesting to watch all this play out. And not knowing I know and believe Khamzat is just going to keep rising all the way to the finish line. but not knowing how it's going to play out with everyone else before that happens. You know, you get in certain situations, and then certain people call for rematches. Well, he's the champion, but I beat him. You know, things of that nature that could derail Khamzat for even longer. So I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. But I fully believe, ladies and gentlemen, that Khamzat will continue to rise in this division. He's going to win the belt. And there's going to be a lot of people like myself that are super excited when that happens, because we've been saying this from the beginning, and we've had to go past and through all the naysayers. And then, you know, let's be honest, then you got to watch the fight and hope your guy wins. I mean, that's no joke as well. I mean, you know, you believe in someone winning, but you still have to see it happen to believe it. It's like you think your team's going to win the Super Bowl until they get beat in the playoffs. So, you know, we got to see Khamzat do it, but he's primed and ready. Please believe it. But for now, this your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day and God bless. As always, peace.